Messing around a group, a website called Kiplinger.com, and I was looking at the reasons why many people were broke. I actually did a Google search on the many reasons why people are broke today, why they were broke yesterday, and why they'll probably be broke tomorrow. And when it comes to retirement age, they won't have enough money to retire on. And unfortunately, many people will be working into way past the retirement age. I know people who are working in their mid 70s. I saw a man who was like 80 working at McDonald's. And why did he not have a retirement? Was it something that he did? Was it something that the family did, the government did? We don't know what it is. So today, we want to talk about some of the things that you need to look at that you're doing every day that might be a detriment to your financial wealth and health and your children, since most of you quoting the scriptures that you're supposed to leave an inheritance for your children's children. Well, that only depends on what you're doing. I want to open this up for discussion, and I'll be back in about 60 seconds. Meet me there. Bass.
It's the show that will get you thinking, and where the topics are hot. Feel free to comment whether we agree or not, 'cause he's got something to say. Sirwalterj Jones. Sirwalterj Jones. He's got something to say. Sirwalterj Jones. Sirwalterj Jones Show.
Come on in. The water's fine. Do. Hello, everybody. Sirwalterj Jones Show. I'm here. It is the midday connection. Baby. Come on in. Water's fine. Water's fine. It's 3 o'clock in the p.m. Central Standard Time, and the markets have closed. Good night. We are done for the day. Hope you did all right in the market. Yes, we are live. Good to see all of you over here in my community. Pitts is here, Trent and Yvonne and Hodges and Stephanie and Echoes and Todd is here, Gwen, Danielle, Lee, and Neil, and the rest of y'all are coming in slowly but surely. Ruth Chester, I want to talk about your finances. What is it that we need to do? Big ups, Jeffrey, that you could get a more focus on your finances, because you know you're in middle age. Most of my listeners in my community are middle age up into senior ages, okay? Rarely will you see a teenager watch my show, and those in the 20s, rarely. The algorithms on the statistics on my YouTube channel and Facebook, half and half, male and female, meaning not more men watch, not more women watch. Now it's like half and half, and the women are slowly, quickly climbing that ladder. But the age group is in the late 30s, but the average age is about 45 up until the senior years who watch my show. And so a lot of the content I present is based off of those who coming over to the show. And we are a Christian audience. And so those of you who hear me use scriptures a lot is because I am an ordained minister of the gospel. But with that being said, a lot of times we think that Christians are, we're illiterate, and that we don't really know anything about capitalism, and we don't talk about things that are very much, we don't talk about taxes. Well, you found out last year that we talk about politics based off of the election from Donald Trump and many of the white evangelicals, especially who jumped in that ring, who's been in the ring for a long time. All right, these are Reagan folks. But I went to the Kiplinger.com site to see what did they say. So what I want to do is dissect the website and see their bullet points on the 10 reasons why many of you are still broke, and see if we could make sense for the audience in whom we have here. All right. They start off with number one, saying that you quit school. You quit school. Now, this whole school thing, I kind of knew that that was going to be on the list. It's on many lists, and school may not matter to you. All right. It didn't really matter to me. The things that I learned more out of school than I did in school. The things that I went to school for, I learned much of what I know now from being out of school. And it may not be for many of you, especially when you're up in age. School might just be too late for some of you. School is you're never too old for school, but for some of the things that maybe you all are doing, school is not an option. But I wanted to bring that up on the list just in case some of you are working for a corporation and they are going to pay either all or half or a portion of your schooling so that you could climb the corporate ladder. So I did want to address that on the list. Good to see you, Rogers. They think we just sitting in our rocking chair waiting on Jesus. Well, some of them are. But you're right, Rogers. Good to see you, Ron Pringle. Always good to see you. And Trina, blessings to you. All right. So they talked about, they says over a 40-year career, a worker with a bachelor's will earn $1 million more than a worker with just a high school diploma. So is schooling important in some of the careers? Absolutely. As you can see here, $2.66 million versus $1.56 million. That's according to 2019 projections. From the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, an advanced degree bumps up the figure by 3.24 million. So degrees do matter, but not in all cases. All right, because I'm going to share my screen. This is the bank rate current college majors advantages and disadvantages, or the most valuable college majors and the least valuable college majors. Okay, here, look at this. On the left screen, the most valuable architectural engineer is the most valuable. But look on the right side. If you want to be a clinical psychologist, here's your median income, $49,000. You see that? But look at the unemployment rate for it. Oh my. Construction services. Now, this construction services don't mean you are a carpenter, you are a laborer, or you are a bricklayer. No, this construction service actually for the median income is based off of you having ownership. Okay, that's based off of your ownership. You own the company. You have your upper echelon, you're a CEO or something like that. That's what this is. That doesn't mean carpentership. Okay, compositions and speech, as y'all can see on the right. No, computer engineer. That's obvious because of the age in which we're living in. Okay, arts, drama, and theater. Look at the unemployment rate. Oh, it's crazy. It gets worse down here with the miscellaneous fine arts. Look at the unemployment rate. Okay. But on the left side, aerosmith engineer and transportation sciences. I mean, it sounds very nerdy, but those are the careers which are, most valuable. But you can see the low unemployment rates. Okay, there. All right. So I want to bring that up because for those of the people who are banking on the whole schooling situation and trying to tell people to go back to school, well, that depends on what you're going back to school for. And if you can make it on $40,000 a year, $49,000 a year, by all means, do what you do. But the average American can't with the family structure and with some of the bills that they have. That's right. It doesn't apply to every ethnic group. There you go. You will need a master's degree on the least side. Yeah, on the least side, April Echoes is saying. Okay, so let's get back to the list. The number 2, you try to keep up with the Joneses. Y'all, you can't stop. You can't my family. Stop trying to keep up with my family. Your best friend wears Prada. Your colleague commutes to the office in a new Porsche, and your neighbors is moving into a mansion, a McMansion, what they saying. If they can have it all, you feel entitled to it too. All right, so I understand why they put that here. I do believe that many people, because they are envious and because they covet the wealth of other people, and And it may not be wealth because the person in who you're coveting may be upside down in that new house they just bought already. They only had it for a few months and they already upside down. They upside down in the new car. They're buying clothes and what have you, and they're living off of one paycheck. And if that company shuts down or have a massive layoff or they fired, what have you, they cannot afford the things that they have. And so they look like they have the appearance of being wealthy, but many of those people who you see in your circles, and I see much of it in church, these people, every time I turn around, they're driving up with a new car. After about a year or two, they got another one, that they're leasing, and then these people buying these houses, and they give the biggest offerings or what have you. The pandemic came and showed us how unprepared these people really were. Good to see you, Joanne White. Always good to see you. All right. So stop trying to keep up with the Joneses or you're going to lose your shirt. Number 3, you're hardly working. You're like, okay, do you mean to tell me I can't get wealthy on my job? No, that's not the point. The point they're saying is the next time someone asks, are you working hard or hardly working? Don't just laugh off the question. They says, in fact, the answer may truly be that you are hardly working and you're all the poorer for it. And it's not in my job description attitude will inevitably lead to a small paycheck, okay, and the poor career prospects, because you don't want to take on some of the things. Your resume, yes, says this is what you do, and so they hire you for that. But when I was working corporate America, I learned to do things that were not on the description of my job, that were not on the resume. I went over to some of the cubicles and learned what these other guys were doing because it seemed like their jobs were more secure than mine anyway. So I'm going to learn what they do. And as I began to learn what they did, and then I began to execute what they did, the boss saw that I was doing that and said, whoa, I didn't know you could do that. Yeah. That's one thing I forgot to put on the resume. All right. And he began to notice me. I began to show that I was very interested to be a part of the family of that corporation, to the point where I was walking around with just, they say when you want to look busy, walk around the office with a vanilla envelope with papers. Walk around with papers. So what I would do is I would print out just nothing on the printer just so I can get up and walk to the printer. Now grab something and walk to the printer, the printing room, and you go in there and you sort out what? Nothing. You sort out nothing. All right. And then I just slowly walk past these are the things that I'm not telling y'all to do that, but this is how I got my raise. And I would walk past the boss. I'd walk past the boss office every time. Good to see you. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, sir. Good. And he would see me always carrying something. I'm so glad he didn't stop and ask me what you're carrying. And I would sit at my desk, and then, I would fluff the papers, make a loud noise, staple empty papers, until I learned my way around the office and to learn other things, okay? And then once I learned the job and learned what other people were doing, I became more of a productive worker. And then they noticed the productivity going up because, yes, I might have been wasting time trying to impress, but in that time I was staying after work, learning how to be fully productive. And then when I learned the game, and then there was a bidding war on me because the boss's friend would come over every now and then. They go off to lunch, and the friend noticed my productivities, and in the inbox would say, listen, if Mr. Odell ain't doing you right, I got you. Come on, Lady Rochelle, fake it till you make it. And then I wind up leaving that company because his friend snatched me and offered me $10,000 more. You understand what I'm saying? So you may not be working hard enough. You need to work on how to maybe manipulate your way through the corporation. Yeah, I know that might not be so popular to say, but I don't care. It worked for me. Number 4. What was number 4 as I flip? You have bad habits. You have bad habits. Bad habits are a big financial drain on your pocket, and those bad habits could be that which is affecting your health. Of course, if your health is down, if your health is bad, then you cannot work. All right. So of course, the smoking and the drinking and the drugs, whether it was illegal or legal, okay, these things can weigh you down. All right. And I have learned to eat healthier. All right. So your bad habits could be not just smoking and drinking or something like that, but it could just be something that you're eating. It could be pork. It could be the whiteness in your food, the flour and the white bread and all these things, and that you should not be, fried foods. All right. I kicked all that stuff to the curb. I started my new workout regimen. I woke up this morning at 6:30. I went to LA Fitness. I got me a personal trainer. I pay him every month, $200 every month now for a whole year. I made sure I got a nice package so that he could kick my behind. And he did exactly that this morning. I can't walk right now because he abused me. They need to shut down LA Fitness because of the abuse that man put up on my backside. Okay. And guess what? I'm going back tomorrow to finish the abuse. All right. And he put me on a nice regimen. Why? Because I'm older and I'm getting older. I want to be able to live longer. And I want to be able to be a more productive man in my business. I own SWJ Media LLC, and it's difficult to be productive when your body is tired and you fatigue. You can't hardly sit up, and you're always sitting in a chair. All right, I have an office. I work in my office all day long. All right, and then I wasn't eating properly. I don't eat breakfast. All these things needed to change. Get up and walk around. Take a stroll. I went to the store and bought me some jogging outfits and go jogging and get that body up and going and to change your way of life. You change your altitude, you can change, and then you change your attitude, and then it changes your whole way of life. Y'all understand? So kick those bad habits and watch your financial status change. It really would, because you're spending too much money on the things that you do not need. All right. So I was buying things, going out to the store and spending all this money at restaurants and what have you. And that money was burning up. It's just burning up and burning up. All right. So get out and do something. I had 2 vanilla Long John today. For what long? All right now. Good to see you, man. Number 5, you make impulse purchases. All right. They always tell you never be hungry when you go to the supermarket. All right. They says 1 in 5 supermarket shoppers make an impulse purchase at checkout. All right. Right. That my mother, I often wonder why she always wrote things down. She wrote them down because she understood that we were on a limited budget. And when she went into Jewel, Osco, all right, or Cubs food in Chicago, we didn't have the Piggly Wigglies and the Winn-Dixies here in Chicago, okay? Or the Krogers. Those are southern supermarkets, all right? She wrote everything down, and she knew what they cost, and so she went in there, and she told us to go around the store and pick them up, and she had a calculator there, and she calculated it all up, and she knew this was the budget, and that's the budget she spent. And if we pulled on her coat because we went over to the cereal aisle, and they always put the kids' cereal on the floor because they want you to buy, these grocery stores are systematically they studied you, all right? They studied the mama, the daddy, and the children. And when we pulled on them, she said, nope, we ain't buying that. No, we're buying a generic box, okay? And she budgeted it just right, all right? So when you do this may seem like it's silly to do. I got money, I can do it. But Warren Buffett still live in the house he's been living in for 70 years. I think he might have just bought a new car. I don't know. I think me and Pitts was talking about that. This man was driving around in a 2003 for years. And he's a multi-billionaire. But poverty is a mental construct. And wealth is a mental construct. Where are you in your mind? Because you who are believers often quote, let this mind or as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And the name it and claim it and decree and declare and all these things. You can say whatever you can say until you're blue in the face, but you still broke. But yet the ones who do have all of the things that they need and they're wealthy, they still don't go out and buy a new car. It makes no sense to buy a new car because you're buying something that won't be worth 3 minutes after you pull off the lot. It's not worth what you paid for it. That is not an asset. That is a liability. That is a debt. And then you're paying on it for 4, 5, 6, 7 years down the road. It makes no financial sense up here. And you could be a millionaire and you can afford to buy the whole fleet. But when you think mentally that it makes no business sense, you will always be wealthy. Or if you don't want to be wealthy, you will always be well off. You'll always have money in your banks, okay? Because your thought process is to conserve, live a conservative life and preserve. He bought a new caddy about 5 years ago. What'd I tell y'all? You go in for a package of lettuce and come out with a 20 pound of candy. That's what I'm saying, y'all. Yes. Yeah. Yvonne said, that's his business, doggone. He's cheap. Okay. That's why people are broke today, because they have the same sentiments. It may seem like he is a cheap miser type person because that's what he think. But let me tell you, his name always come up amongst the wealthy. Because why? It's the mindset. It's the mindset. Number 6, you play the lottery. We don't really have to go over this now, do we? A $20 per week lottery habit adds up to $1,040 per year wasted. And your odds of winning is 1 in 292 million. All right? It goes on and on. It's ridiculous. And when I go to the corner store, I see all these poor people waiting in line to play the lottery. And I get really sad about it. Poor people. The lottery is wealthy, not based off of the rich. The rich don't play the lottery. They're like, well, they don't need to play the lottery. Well, they can, because many rich people gamble, but they're not playing the lottery. The lottery is a poor man's game, and the city, the states, and the government knows that. And the only reason why there is a lottery because they got tired of y'all illegally gambling. So they said, if you can't beat them, join them. In Chicago, it has a lot to do with what they call the policies. Someone will come to your house in the 60s and 70s. I still remember policy. They come to the house and they do the number thing. And and it was a legal thing to do. And the city said, hey, let's join them. And they instituted the lottery. It's the same thing with the weed and the cannabis thing. It had been outlawed for many years, and they said, listen, if we can't beat them, join them. All this money being passed illegally, let's get a part of that and let's tax it. I cannot believe the amount of saints who still, the impulse of seeing elite. I know a 2108 Kia Optima starts at, you mean, is it 2108? Really? We in that year already? 23,000. I bought one in 2019 for 14. Come on, man. Come on, Joe Hill. I know what you meant, though. Avis, blessings to you. Shalom. Okay. Let's go further. Since I don't eat meat anymore, over the past 3 years, I've saved at least $2,500 in just meat alone. By grocery bill, my grocery bill weekly is no more than $25 to $50. Seriously, I'm not a math girl, so my numbers. I'm with you, Sherry. That's where I am right now. All right. So that's the lottery. Y'all stay at the lottery line, will you please? Again, that may not apply to you, but as we go further, number 7, you make minimum payments. Y'all already know what this is all about, right? You make minimum payments. Rose, the good Financial Sense blog, says that many of his financial planning clients who were struggling when they first came to him didn't have a clue how much they owed, much less have a plan to pay off their debts. As a result, many were making minimum payments without fully appreciating the interest implications. But consider this: if you sent in just the monthly minimum, 2% of the balance on the credit card with a $5,000 balance and a 15% interest rate, it would take you 32 years to get rid of the debt. And you will pay nearly $8,000 in interest on the original $5,000 balance. And that is where the 2008, 2009, the whole home buying, the crisis, it was the retail crisis was a mess. The homes, that is, because the real estate, they saw you coming. They call it subprimes. People was walking in there, not just with homes, for cars as well, no money down. And they go to church and testify and want us to shout because they was able to get this home and this house with no money down. But you got 15, 20, almost 30% interest rate on it. And for a car, it's taking you 6-7 years to pay it off, and you want me to celebrate you. Well, then your credit card, you got a debt on your credit card, and you only making the $25 a month payment, and you keep paying that because you don't want your FICO score to go down. All right, and so you keep paying on the minimum, so that you won't get hit with a non-payment because you understand the utilization or the payment on time hits your credit harder than anything. Okay, late payments. And so you keep paying the minimum just so that you can satisfy Experian. you satisfy them, all right? But not realizing that you're spending so much money just to pay the minimum. So when I use my credit card, I already have in my mind that just a few days later, if no more than maybe about a week, I'm paying the entire bill off every month. That minimum payment stuff is for the birds and for a man or woman who is poor mentality. Now, I can see that you've ran your credit card bill up to the thousands where you probably can only afford to pay the minimum. So that's something else you need to do. You need to cut back on something else so where you can start doubling up on your credit card so that you won't be paying for the rest of your life on minimum credit card bills. These prime loans, car title, paydays, and it's ridiculous. I trust me, I got bit by that. I went broke by these payday loans. I went broke. It destroyed me. Number 8, you lack goals. If you're not rich, you probably wish you were. That's natural. Yet there's a big difference between a wish and a goal, says Corley. The wealthy individuals he surveyed for his rich habit books consider a goal to be something that requires action to achieve. However, of these surveyed by Corley who had household incomes of $35,000 or less and liquid assets of about $5,000 or less, just 5% said they had ever set annual financial goals. Only 2% had spent a year or more working towards a goal. Be as specific and realistic as possible when setting your financial goal. You need to do that. Set your goal. I talked about Facebook and I talked about the climate of setting, social media portfolios and what have you. So with your financial goals, you need to have one so that you can set it. You see, the average person will follow something if it is something set and etched in stone, because you follow your TV shows. You know it's coming on every Thursday at 7 p.m. So you plan your whole day out so that you can be home in time enough to watch your 7 p.m. show. I mean, it's just that easy. So you need to convert that over to your financial goals. And 1 year, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to make. This is what I want to save. I need an emergency fund, on and on and on. And once you put that in your face, your mind will try and follow it if you got the right mind in you. Even the rental centers are predatory. Yes, pimping out the community for. Trust me, when I was young and foolish, just got married, my whole house was filled with rental center. I'm talking about the washer, the dryer, the refrigerator, the stove, the CD player, the TV, everything in my house. I was paying it every week. And you miss one payment, they coming to your door. They want you to miss it. They need you to miss a payment. They make their money on you missing. Okay, trust me. You can't be pimped if you're not allowed to be. Come on, pips. I like that. Number 9, you hang out with the wrong crowd. Man, listen, it's hard to get ahead financially if you associate with others who have bad money habits. Kick your friends to the corner, y'all. Get them out of your house, get them out of your life, and tell them, bye, love. We can't do this anymore. All right, let's get rid of that. I don't have time to go much into that. Number 10 is my last one. I'm at my 30-minute mark. You're a couch potato. All right, 77% of those struggling financially spent an hour or more a day watching TV. All right, and you should not be doing that. That's why I talked about social media on yesterday, day before yesterday. Okay, cut that stuff off. All right, I have the Fire Stick, Amazon Fire Stick. What have you? It's got, as y'all know, it got all the channels and I've got subscriptions or what have you. But I had to cut some of those subscriptions off and save my money. Why? Because I wasn't watching that stuff. Why? I have a business to run, and I don't have time to watch TV. All right, so I turn that stuff off. I get into the Word of God. I get into my finances, and I watch the news to see what's going on, because I do have a show that I inform people about what's going on around the world in every aspect of a Christian's life. As the Sirwalterj Jones is dealing with that, so I have to watch that stuff so that you won't have to. But I watch it, but I don't watch it all day. So I get my little bit of news at a certain time of the day. That way I can get whatever happened while I was in bed and up to the time that I'm watching the news. So right around this time of the day, I can get all caught up. All right. And anything that may be breaking after that, well, it's just going to have to break. All right. And then I try to catch what I miss before I go to bed. I'll catch to see if I miss anything in the highlights of the news. All right. That way I won't be watching news all day long like I used to see what's going on. You understand? All right, so balance your life out and stop wasting so much time on other people's whatever they're doing, and get yourself involved in your own business. All right, please, people, save. I need you to save for an emergency. Number 1, don't save too much, because your money is being eaten up by the inflationary rate every year. So just save up to about 6 to 12 months, and then you're done. All right, and put that money into an online account with a high yield return, okay? And then you need to put some money into the market. Please, don't get scared. You type on YouTube right now, and you see all of these shows talking about a crash is coming. A crash is coming. Well, a crash is always coming, and when the crash is coming, that means the market is on sale, and I'm jumping in. When a crash comes, I don't get scared. I get excited. Avis I'll answer Avis's question as we go. Speaking about finance, I think we need to make sure Amber is getting regular increases as. And y'all know she inboxed me that, right? Y'all know she. I have a wonderful stock plan and make sure. Yeah, y'all know she inboxed me that, right? Yeah, cable is ridiculous. Amen. All right, the soap opera helps me stay out of my. Well, something wrong. Something wrong with y'all. All right, y'all. Any questions before I get out of here? I gotta go. This is going to happen unexpectedly. Yes. All right. So again, pay close attention to what's going on in your financial life, and you will do better. All right. I'll be back tomorrow, Friday at 3:00, to recap for the rest of the week, and then before that, 9:00 tonight, I'll be with Elder Rodney Jones. I'm going to have Elder Jones on the show, and then we'll talk about its pastors appreciation or something month or something. Pastors, that doesn't mean just a pastor. I mean the elders, ministers, all of you leaders. We'll talk about that tonight at 9:00. And I'm going to stir up some mess, as I always do. Okay, so get it ready, because y'all know how I am. And then tomorrow is questions and answers. You can have your questions that is, ready for me early if you like. You can inbox it to me or email it to me, giftedfriends1@gmail.com, and I will be answering them tomorrow night, Friday, 9 p.m. Central. All right? Okay, that's right. Clergy Appreciation Month. All right, so let's celebrate the clergy. They've those who follow the leadership of the Lord. Let's celebrate them. And the others, well, not so much. I've got my spoon ready. When they having members appreciation, Beverly said. Right. We can talk about that tonight because that's a great question. Winston Hodges, blessings to you. So good to see you. That's a great question. Abram said, I have some questions. All right. Have them ready. I'm going to answer them as much as I can for Friday night. All right. Doing the will of God. Good stuff, Trina. I love y'all. Take care of yourselves and one another. Hit the share button. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. Hit the bell notifications so that you'll get the notifications. That's why it's called notifications. All right. And we'll talk to you tonight at 9 p.m. Central. Bye-bye.